Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Look, here's what it comes down to. You have a business, you got to get your message out there. How about some PR, some public relations? Well, I don't know how to do that as much as my guest does, and we're going to find out here today. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Yeah,
there it
is. Time to drop some fire.
It is time. All right, all you business pros out there. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We will sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz/guest to schedule your time slot. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we are so excited and so honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is a high-profile, international, award-winning publicist and author. Among her many achievements, the one that stands out most is her successful 20-year campaign aimed at freeing an innocent man from death row. She is an avid advocate of human rights issues and is known internationally as a public relations thought leader. Today's guest is particularly passionate about amplifying important messages and lends her powerful voice to those who most need one. As a public relations and media expert, as well as an advocate for a multitude of causes, our guest knows how to get attention and tell stories to attract people to you and your business. Joining us today from Lamourie Media, the author of the book, Get Repped, welcome to the show, Tracy Lamourie.
It's a Friday house party, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Best intro ever. Best intro ever.
And that's saying something.
No, and shout out
to all
I do. And shout out to all the promo all week because you guys have done a great job on the YouTube. I was just saying coming in, I love the graphics and, you know, the live coming up in 2 days. So I'm on a lot of these things and you guys rock it. So people should definitely listen to your business advice because you clearly know what to do. So
boom. That's what I'm talking about. Well,
oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
That's all I got.
True thing.
All right, I want to know, I'm assuming a 20-year, escapade in trying to get somebody off of death row, that kind of gave you a lot of life lessons on how to get attention, how to do a lot of research, how to get in the right faces of the right people. Tell me a little bit about that story and where it took you.
Yeah, and to start with that, I certainly never saw that as a preface to business at all. It took me 15 years to think, oh, geez, the skills that I developed doing that, getting us national, international media attention, are actually skills that I could take away from that and charge, businesses or other people, because I would never have monetized that work. That's, work of the heart. And yeah, so looking back on it, we call it a campaign, but at the time, we didn't frame things that way. We would just, in our 20s, activists and advocates who saw something that nobody else was helping on. And, we were crazy enough to think maybe we could make a difference. And so I learned how to write a press release, for that. And he was actually freed. Name is Jimmy Dennis. He was on death row in Pennsylvania for more than 25 years. And we knew him from 1998, which was his 7th year in. He was actually freed in 2017. And interestingly, after this show, literally an hour from now, people can go and listen to him. If you go on my page, you can link to, he's being interviewed live on a 2-hour podcast about his journey from death row to Rolling Stone magazine and the music that he's made today. So not only is he free, but he's speaking out, he's making music, he's, He's a
Man.
story. He's a story, man. But yeah, in terms of me, and I learned how to literally frame all that. And my messaging, when we had no media experience other than a local radio show, we had no PR experience. We certainly weren't lawyers. And myself and my husband in our 20s, we got ourselves in that death penalty conversation. We were on CNN, MSNBC, Court TV, A&E, Fox, ABC. The list goes on. And yet it took 15 years before. And meanwhile, we were just in sales and marketing in entry level sales, not even marketing, entry level sales, for things we didn't care about in our day jobs, my husband and myself. And then one day I literally had that, literally like a light bulb moment where I was like, And the reason that becomes a business story is, most people don't have that 20-year death row story. Everyone has something they like or something they love or something they're good at or something they're passionate about that they may never, ever have thought about because it's not work in terms of how could I make this, part of my work. And somehow in a way that, I never could have expected at all, for me, that's developed that, passionate, just wanted to get the message out has developed, I guess, because I'm good at what I do. I learned I'm good at media. I'm good at building things, has developed into, a career, not only a career, but PR publicity. It's one of those careers that, people, they make TV shows about, and they want, when they want you to look cool and glamorous, they call you a publicist. And, and there really is the VIP parties. There really is the travel, not in the year of COVID, unfortunately. But in 2018 or 2019, I'm sitting there going, how's this my life? Because, I didn't go to school for this. I didn't. And now here I was in, not traveled 9 different times and 9 different projects with 8 different clients and one friend at the time to 5 different countries and 4 continents in 2019. Being paid for PR work with
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Right.
With no education. But you know what I mean? The point is, it's not me. I'm not magic. I just believed I could do that, started to do it, proved myself because I was passionate about it. And then 15 years later, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So there's a lesson about lack of confidence there, or not really seeing what we're doing as necessarily valuable in the workplace.
Well, I want to hover on that passion you got right there, because I can tell just by listening to you speak, you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of energy, and I'm sure you take it with you on stage, you take it with you on podcasts, you take it with you everywhere you go. It's who you are, right? And there are a lot of businesses out there that want to get some of that PR. You've taken something that you took time in building, right? You started from not knowing a thing in just regular, office sales or whatever.
Yeah.
To turning it into a company where you teach this to other people. You help other businesses get that kind of publicity that they're looking for. It's a dream to be able to be put on TV, on the news, on a quick little segment so that more people and more eyes are seeing it. I'm telling you right now, I know our show needs something like this. What can you give us as far as advice to help us get to that level, to get that exposure that we're looking for?
Yep. So there's a lot of things. I have, my book Get Rep that's coming out, which I'm not saying go read it because that's why I talk in these podcasts. The book that's coming out is the same thing I talk about every day in these podcasts, is because 80 or 90% of entrepreneurs have no concept of PR, meaning they haven't thought about it. But yet you look at every corporate, there's not one corporate company in the world that doesn't have a communications department, which is their PR department. So right there, that shows you, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs are on a huge, scale, and that's on them. You don't have to have an in-house PR department. You just have to be conscious of the media opportunities. And if you have more time than money, if you have some money and you can put aside a small, tiny bit of your marketing budget for a month to test PR, call me. I work internationally anywhere in the English-speaking world, and I'll prove to you. But you know what? At the end of the month, businesses are like, what? Because you have no concept of the opportunities that are out there. And I recently likened it to, those old Lucy shows, I Love Lucy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on, there's a assembly line in front of her, and there are all the things
chocolates?
go by. Yeah,
Yeah, I know exactly.
Right? It's like Time Magazine, Reader's Digest, Oprah. They're all there willing to quote you, and you're not even seeing the opportunities. Because what you guys don't know is, you know about press releases and media advisories where we reach out to media, tell them what you're doing, see what sticks, who's going to interview you, which is all strategy and all that. But the other side of that is, there's media every single day reaching out not only to publicists, but in free services like Haro and Source Bottle, looking for quotes from experts to insert in articles or stories that are already going to exist. So they get a lot of answers, of course. So it's all about the pitch. I always say life's a pitch. That's a P, not a B.
True. That's true.
It's true. Everything, whether it's about getting a job or, getting in the media or whatever else. So yeah, you're right. The things that other people see as like fantasy and they have no concept of how to do it, getting in the news, getting in the media. I've known how to do that since I was in my 20s. I know how to. So to me, that's like an easy thing. And I can show people how to. And I always say, I don't care what you do for a living. I can find the story in either your business, in you, in your knowledge, in whatever, or find these opportunities, to quote you, till we build that base where you're interesting for your local TV or whatever.
That's cool, baby. I mean, you know how it is.
Oh,
you got
when I was 8, did I not love Grease? I used to, when I was 8, I'm sorry, we just have to respect there. I used to think that shit was really cool. When I was
It still
a kid,
is. What are you talking about?
I knew. Hey, my first album was Grease, the double album, and I knew every single word. Don't get me started. I will break out into like Sandra D or something right here.
Oh, see, we took on that perfect clip right there. See, got you fired up on that one.
Too good.
All right, so getting that PR and getting an exposure requires that story. And I talk to a lot of people in business. I talk to a lot of people in marketing, and they all talk about getting that story, right? Finding, first identifying your ideal audience or your ideal client, and then building a story around that. But that building a story doesn't always come easy. I mean, a lot of us know a framework about a story, right? The hero, the guide. We got an idea, thanks to Donald Miller and story branding. We got an idea of what the framework is, but just that alone doesn't really solve the problem. There's still creativity that goes into getting that story to pull out. Like when I hear you speak, you're always cutting to something that I can visually see as you're describing it. You're describing I Love Lucy, and you're talking about the conveyor belt, and then you're relating, the different magazines that are on that belt and the opportunities. People can visually in their mind see what you're describing. Is that something that you developed, or is that something you work on consistently? Or is that personality? How did that come
I just
about?
thought of that analogy the other day when I was telling the story of how in December I got one client in 2 weeks, not doing pitches, well, not even doing releases, but just by responding to those incoming things where there's already going to be a story and fitting in the New York Times and in Reader's Digest, one client in like 6 days. So that's a nice hit, and that's just free. Those services are free. Anybody could have been following those, just messaging and responding. So I was explaining that, to somebody, and I'm talking about how entrepreneurs don't see these opportunities. They're not even aware of them. They're so busy doing what they're doing. Oh, I'm too bad, I don't have time. Or they're intimidated about it, or they don't really see themselves as potentially being quoted in the media, that they're just
losers always whine about their best.
Yeah.
They're just focusing on what they're doing, but they're not looking at all these opportunities that are going by. So that just came to me one day as a visual. I guess I'm just good at it, because I didn't put any plot. It makes me happy that you say when I'm talking, you can see these things.
True.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
And there you go. Pay me first.
That's right. So, well, now I'm curious. Like, if somebody's gonna go out and hire a publicist, right? I think the reason why entrepreneurs don't do it is because they're like, dude, that's super expensive. I don't know. I don't want to commit to something long term. I don't even know what the results are gonna be, right? Like this whole thing about marketing. We talk about creating content and making sure that you're in front of people every single day, right? That's one of the reasons why we do our show every day, is because if you don't show up, you become invisible real quick. So you got to be able to go out there. But what you're doing is more than just showing up every day. You're adding fuel to an existing fire, and that's really exciting me, right? Yeah, you're turbocharging it. So what does that kind of look like as far as when you bring on a client? Is this something that they have to commit to long term? Is this something they do short term? How does that work?
I make it easy because I've developed and I understand as an entrepreneur, and I've talked to so many entrepreneurs that I've never thought about this before. So I realize this is a blind spot with me. Like my business is doing well right now, but if you suddenly tell me, hey, give me $10,000, I'm going to do this, and I've never thought of it before, I'm going to be like, maybe next year, because like that's a big chunk of money. So unfortunately, a lot of PR houses traditionally it's $3,000 a month, 3 months minimum, and that's completely intimidating because again, you don't, especially if you don't really understand what or really believe that it's going to get you anywhere or really see the results before you do it. So what I've developed is, and not to undercut myself because my resume could, I could charge double that because my resume is more impressive than most publicists who charge that. But you see where I come from. And so I'm still heart-centered. And my whole point is building. I didn't go to school to get the biggest, I don't even like working with corporate because then I have to sit around a boardroom and decide with 8 people, what. So when Hollywood comes calling and I do a lot of celebrity work, that's the prices they get.
Mhm.
But for individuals, I've actually developed, especially since I started doing these podcasts, because I get people fired up, they want to try it. I'm not going to say, oh, now you can't afford it. So I've developed 2 different plans that are, now I'm getting advertorial, but just real quick, I've developed 2 different plans that basically for under $1,000, one is at about $1,000 a month, but if you buy more, you can get 1 month free, or it becomes $500 a month when you buy 6 months in advance or whatever it is. That's like a full service PR where we're doing Zoom strategy, could be 5 press releases. We're doing, you could have events that we're doing, blah, 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 about all that stuff, everything you can think of. And then the other one is a budget, entry level to PR, which is at $5.99 a month, or $10.99 for 3 months or something. And for that, at the end, I'm basically monitoring all that incoming stuff, getting them things that I know right at the beginning. I know I can get them a profile in this. I know I can get them interviewed here. I know I can do these 5 or 6 things. And then plus I have the whole month to see what else I can get them. It could be TV, it could be radio, everything depends on who they are. As you said, what their story is, what we can develop, the strategy of different audiences. I never, so at the beginning, I always know I'll get this, and this, and then we have all this, and who knows what's going to be in that component. So
don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
That's right. You can make it happen, right? Tracy, you're making it happen. I mean,
I will make it happen for anybody.
Right.
Test me, challenge me, try me.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm worried, right? As an entrepreneur, I'm worried that I'm going to drop some money on something that I don't know what kind of results I'm going to get. Right? Is there any type of guarantee we can do in the PR space that you're saying, look, this is what's going to happen? Because I know when it comes to other things, like you get an ads manager, for example, and it's like, well, we're going to test, A/B testing, split testing. We're going to try this, that. There's no guarantees at the end of the day that your leads are going to convert and that's going to happen, right? PR space is a little bit different because it's not necessarily you're looking for a conversion. You're looking for a little bit more exposure. So what can we expect when we put that money down, whether we buy 3 months, 6 months, or whatever? Yeah. What can we expect?
So I always know that I'm going to get something. I've never had a chance, I've never had somebody come back and say, this person never got me anything. They're always opposite to that, extremely excited and more like, oh my God, I can't believe you got me this, this, and this. And now they start to see themselves as the person that can be interviewed. And they're like, wow. And all their friends are asking, how did you do that all of a sudden? And then they're
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I have a new client. But basically, so, when I started out, I used to say, listen, I know I'm going to be able to get you a ton of results. I don't know at the outset what they're going to be. But now I'm able to say, because I'm so many years in, I've developed so many good relationships with so many editors, so many this, that, so many things. But there are some, like I know at the outfront, even if you're paying me for that $5.99, for example, I know at the outfront, and I tell the people this conversation what I know I'm going to be able, because I know what they like and what their writing is and who they'll profile. I myself can write a profile of this person, or if I don't see that, I wouldn't take their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time I take their money, I'm like, no, I know what I'm going to do. So I know I can write a profile of you that's going to be accepted by my editor friend over here in Los Angeles that I have, this other one here, this other one here. Plus, I know 2 podcasters that like to interview people in the entrepreneur space. I know for sure out the front. So right up front, you hire me, you're going to have these 3, by the end of the month, you can have these 3 articles about you and 2 interviews. That's before I pitch anything. So you know what I mean? So compare that to going and buying an ad. You're already like 10 times beyond, and especially at the prices I give. And the way I'm able to do that, like I said, is with those small packages compared to going paying $3,000 is because I'm good at what I do. I've developed those relationships where I know exactly what I can get and how much time it's going to take me. So if I get you to pay me for the budget price, a $600 price, it's not up to you to decide. You don't know how many hours. Maybe that's 1 hour of my work. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 50, and it may be different for every project. I don't care, because when I take it on, I'm committed to that project, and you shouldn't care how many hours or minutes I work on it, because all you're going to see is, hey, I'm in all this media. That's what you're paying for.
The value is in the results, right? It always comes down to the results. And here's the thing, what you're describing here is first of all, super amazing, because the exposure that you're getting is built on the relationships that you've established. One of the things that I talk about all the time when I talk to somebody who says, hey, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm like, awesome. And then they start getting into this thought process that they're going to be the next Joe Rogan. I'm like, dude, first of all, pump your brakes. That's not really what it's about. If you can build the relationships with people, if you can build a show where you have a good time and you're meeting somebody new every day, you never know where those relationships doors those things are going to open, right?
I've seen that like crazy since I've been doing these. I was just thinking them as media, because I'm a media person, and I was sending my clients on podcasts to do media, and then I started to do a few for myself because I was, oh, this is interesting, you know, let's go on. And then I started to realize, oh my gosh, it's not just media. It's huge media, but even more importantly, in the age of COVID in 2020 and 2021, it's amazing. And like, especially if you're a business to business provider, it's insane networking and marketing, because we're all out there in this space, you know, getting our word out there, trying to get in the podcasters of this thing. I've been hired by 3 podcasters. One is talking to me again tomorrow. And I wasn't even looking for this. It's just from the conversation. One is considering it. And another one just messaged me the day after he interviewed me. We had a great conversation. He had a different guest on, and he was like, oh my God, I don't know why yet, because I haven't talked to her. But he's like, you know who you should talk to? This girl, Tracy, that I had on yesterday. And now we're talking on Tuesday about me working with her. So I'm finding that it's, you know, you're right. You know, whoever you're telling them they should listen to you. It's insane for networking and marketing as well as for media.
Yeah, you're capitalizing on the relationship. Look, people don't buy just stuff. People tend to buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? The reason why you buy from Amazon, you know them, you like them, you trust them. They deliver your package on time, right? So it works like that every single time. That's why you go to McDonald's. You might talk crap about their food or whatever, but you know what you're getting when you pull up to that window, right?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly, right? You know exactly what you're getting. So, you know, and the other thing is you come on and you have this fire about you, right? So you couple that with the relationships that you have. Quite literally, right?
They actually call me Mama Fire. I went to Jamaica on one of the projects last year, and for some reason, one of the old elders up in the mountains, we were in Jamaica doing what we do in Jamaica, you know, and what we do in Canada, and, you know, we're smoking up in the mountains, and this old, like, he was like an elder, like, no lie, and for some reason, he called me Mama Fire, and I was like, oh, just the hair, and he's like, no, I can see that you're very kind, but that when he basically was saying, but that when, you know, when someone needs to be told, like, you go nuts. And I was like, that's true. And then when I came back and I was posting about that, everyone was like, oh yeah. So all my friends have taken up the Mama Fire thing now. But you know, there's some COVID gray going on here because my celebrity stylist is in Iceland.
Well, you know what though? I mean, it's not like you're walking on a public stage anymore, right? I mean, you can't see it. You can't see it right now, but like, I'll get it right here. I got my friend's flip flops on, so it's not like, you know, it's not like I'm styling or anything. You know, it's just a microphone here, and it's just behind the mic. But it doesn't stop you from making the connections, right? Just because you can't go out and shake hands doesn't mean you can't go out and build a relationship. Just because you can't go out and knock on doors doesn't mean you can't make sales, you know, meeting new people. You literally are telling people right now your experience on going from podcast to podcast. You're promoting the power of your PR company, right?
Exactly.
You're getting business just by opening your mouth on somebody else's show. And believe me, you know, as a podcaster, having guests come on your show is a value. Right. There are podcasters out there who are actively looking for guests. They want people to come on. They need help with that content. You're helping provide both on the host, you're helping alleviate that problem, and on the guest side, because now you're matching them up specifically with people who need to hear their particular message.
And I've got amazing guests. Like, I mean, I got clients, like, every time I do a podcast, I'm like, okay, after that, remind me again, you know, what your guest profile is, because, you know, whether you want, you know, entrepreneurs, we speak to other entrepreneurs, whether you want, you know, legal people, health people, medical people, mindset people, cannabis people, authors, musicians, you know, public speakers, corporate, I got them all. So those are my current clients.
Right. Okay. So, you know, give me some of these case studies. I want to know some people that you've worked with, because you have so many amazing different stories, right? Let me help my listeners understand. It's 2020 right now, right? So a lot has changed. A lot has changed in every business. PR, I'm assuming, has changed as well. What kind of approach have you taken in 2020 now that we've had to deal with a whole new world of things and a whole new opportunity of Zoom calls, right? How's it changed your PR game?
Well, so like you said, in terms of entertainers and all that, they're still suffering. Concerts and live events and everything, they're they're still, trying to find ways. And I had a conversation, and so we're trying to find creative ways, to support them. I had a conversation yesterday with a guy. He's spent 10 years in America, but now he's gone back home to India, I guess for family reasons. But while he's there, he's engaged in a new international thing where, we never think of that population here. But the masses of people on the Indian subcontinent, and they've got a concert thing going on where everybody pays, $3 or $4 because that's what you pay for concerts there instead of 20 or 50. But the masses of they're really popular, and the masses of people, mean that our artists are getting paid way more than they expect, on $2 or $4 concerts. And so they're interested in North American artists, and so I'm like, okay, let's look at getting our artists and doing some platforms on there, and building up an audience base there, and putting, more importantly, some money in their pocket, right now, because we're trying to find ways for, like, the creatives are the ones that are really suffering right now, right? Emotionally too. I know, like, I see, Matt Count Classy, he's an amazing gay artist, like, taking the barriers of hip hop and homophobia, because it's still very homophobic, and he's making that change. But he's been posting, I just miss performing, and you can just see a lot of people are just struggling with mental health issues or just depression or wondering what to do. So on the creative side, that we're still trying to find solutions for that. But on the business side, like I said, I'm noticing, one thing that everybody needs to realize, everybody's in the same position. And the creatives need to think about this too. We are all, from the top celebrities to you and me to whoever, doing the same thing right now, sitting in front of the same thing, this screen right here, trying to figure out what's going on and what our next move is, and making partnerships. And I work with celebrities, and I work with people that, so I know that's true about everybody. So in some ways, it's level the playing field, because now we're all sitting here communicating in the same way with the same limitations, other than, not talking about financially, obviously, but when it comes to what we can really do. And meet. So there's a lot more. Like, for example, yesterday, I'm in PR, not marketing, but they're cousins, and I like to talk to marketing a lot, because I always say to give marketing experts tool from the PR tool belt that can help them serve their clients and also build their own brands, right? And so I signed up for 3 days this week, though I only put a couple of hours in, to the American Marketing Association's annual general conference. Normally I wouldn't go to that, because I'm not in marketing, primarily in PR. There's a million other conferences I would go to, but I thought, what, I'll go check it out. And do you know what? Not only was it available on my Zoom, but the whole thing was free. And the whole thing was free, from the conferences to listen, but also to go into the social rooms where there was chats, and like everybody, hey, I'm Bob from Swiss Army Knife. Hey, I'm whoever from Nintendo. Hey, I literally checked in there for like 15 minutes, gave my bio and LinkedIn, and about 50 people added me that I haven't had a chance to go in and communicate with yet. So any entrepreneur, anybody who wants to learn more about they could have gone to that for free yesterday, where they couldn't have flown maybe to San Diego or whatever it was in a regular year. So things that you couldn't maybe do before, now you can actually take advantage of, make those connections. People are hungry to make those connections, even high profile people. And
I like how you made that analogy, right? The whole marketing and PR cousins, because you're absolutely right. When I talk about marketing and branding, we're talking about the consistency factor. You need to put out stuff every single day, right? You need to put out content, whether, we promote it as a done for you. So what we do is I'm like, look, I know that when you grab your phone and you're getting ready to post, and you have that little voice inside you that says, I don't know what to say. I try to get that out of you. So, we sit down for a 30-minute conversation every month. I pull those things out of you.
That's excellent. I know people do have that problem. Yeah, I can see that.
So we break them up, and then I give you, we take that content and we give it to you, so you have stuff every single day. Now that's more marketing side, right? This is you putting your message out there. By the way, if you guys want that, it's businessbros.biz/done for you, and we'll take care of you on that side. So we do that so that we can help them build that exposure and start building their brand. But you're saying, marketing and PR are cousins, right? So once we have somebody who has a brand set up, who's already putting that stuff out, what is that additional fuel to that fire, that laser focus that you put in with the PR that helps take their brand to that next level?
Yeah, like I say, what I do it with, and this just came to me in a podcast one day. I didn't sit here till 3 o'clock trying to write it, but someone said, like, how do you describe what you do? And I said, I used to say, I amplify, my clients' messages. But then I said, really, what I do is I elevate and celebrate what they're doing. Right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pointing a spotlight. Look over there. Look how awesome this person is. Look at our celebrity. And, and for example, if I was pitching you, I'd get you on talk radio or on television, potentially by being, and my pitch would be, every single day, You're an expert in entrepreneurs. You're an expert in small business in America. You're an expert on what's going on right now in 2021, in the light of COVID and everything else, because every single day he speaks to entrepreneurs across industries, across the country, about what their challenges are, what their successes are, what their, so have him on as a guest and he'll break down, small business in America today.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Man, I love that. That's a great pitch already. All right, that was worth the 30 minutes right there.
But you see what I mean? That's how it goes.
You're exactly right. But you're pulling the information that somebody else wouldn't see, right? It's something that, yes, you're right. Those are things that I do. I just don't know if I would phrase them that way and bring that spotlight in that direction.
Yep.
Tracy, you're doing such tremendous work. I want to make sure people know how to get a hold of you if they want to work with Fire Mama.
Please do, yeah. And again, I work internationally anywhere in the English-speaking world. And I'm working on my French. My mom's French. I should be able to say French, but So yeah, LamourieMedia.com, or on Instagram, you can see all my daily successes and all my client successes at Tracy Lamourie PR Media. You can email me at LamouriePR@gmail.com. And you can use that old telephone technology at 289-788-5881. And I'll be happy to say you saw me on Business Bros, and I'll be happy to do a 28-minute, 3-minute, 30-minute, whatever free consultation. Well, really bring it home to you, because again, I don't care if you mow lawns for a living, if you work at a hotel, if you're a butcher, baker, candlestick maker. There's stories in what you do. You have knowledge that we don't have. I guarantee you, challenge me, try me. There's media that I can get you in right away. So, let's talk about it, and you'll be amazed. Like I say, people are entrepreneurs. Even if you only hire me for a month, or any publicist for a month, but I don't know what they offer, but even if you only hire me for a month, at the end of the month, your mind, like literally, you'll be blown away, because you're going to understand the power of the pitch. You're going to see how you're framed. You're going to see the kind of media we get. You could just take that pitch and go running yourself with it from that on. It's about entrepreneurs understanding the difference between editorial and advertorial. We're not talking about advertising. It's a get away from that thinking. You're giving a gift to the media of content that fits their audience, and that's the way to success.
I gave it a 10. A 10.
I gave it a 10. All right, ladies and gents, you heard it here first. Look, it really comes down to you taking an action. You got to make a choice. Look, I believe you have a choice. It doesn't matter what it is in your life. It could be a guy that cut you off. You have a choice. Go flip him off, or you can just let it go and understand that maybe he's got something else going on. You're coming to another crossroad right here, right now. You have a choice, right? You can take your business to another level, introduce yourself to that PR world. Public relations is completely different from marketing. They're cousins. It's completely different from sales, right? This is a different point of view. The least you can do is contact Tracy, have a conversation, see how she can help you. So make that choice, ladies and gents. Otherwise, you can make the choice to not do anything, and you're going to be in the same exact spot you are today, tomorrow. So it's up to you. Ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. We'll see you again next week on Monday. So enjoy the weekend. Be safe out there. If you're in San Diego, stay dry. We'll see you again later. Peace, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.